Hello, guys. Hope you're doing well. This is TJ, and you're listening to Beyond the Ring podcast. And today we're gonna cover the 26th September 1981 show of Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling. So, if you have not seen other reviews and other episodes, please do check out in my YouTube channel. I have created a separate playlist for this. So, before we go into this review, please be sure to like this video, share it with your fans, and subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content like this. So, without any further ado, let's get into this then. So this show was taped on the same day as it had aired at WPCQ TV studios in Charlotte, North Carolina. And as always, Bob Caudle and David Crockett are on commentary. And David Crockett announces that Ric Flair had won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship from Dusty Rhodes on September 17, 1981 at Kansas City. And we actually begin with a promo from Jake the Snake Roberts and Bad Bad Leroy Brown. And they come out to talk about Ole Anderson. And he warns Ole about they coming and ruining their business, and Braun says that I like his promo, and I like his face reaction that he when he cuts the promo, and he actually says that he's a strong survivor, and he tells Roberts that he don't like Ole, and he can't wait to get his hands on him. And this was a small promo, a good promo there, and they were having going to have a match against Anderson's Ole Anderson, so a tag team match. So we got the first match, which was Austin Idol versus Scott Maggie, and this is a very good singles match I had seen. The opening was very good, and in the early beginning we saw Idol and Maggie working out some lockups, some hammerlock attempts, some pure wrestling holds and grappling and mat based wrestling we see. In the early we saw Maggie actually trying to have the single leg takedown, and I actually love this type of wrestling, the mat based type of wrestling. If you know me, if you watch my reviews and all, I have actually said and all of the reviews that I and the matches that I review upon, that I love this technical wrestling very much. And they actually have them rope break and all. And then we saw Idol tries to escape, but Maggie keeps going after his leg over and over again. So the leg work was the main here by Idol. And then he slams Maggie, a few punches by him as well, and Idol yells Flair actually, but he was not Flair. He was yelling to Scott Maggie, stating him as Flair, and the commentator says that he's not Flair, Idol. And Idol escapes and then throws a punch at Maggie, and he tosses Maggie to the outside. And in the final moment, we got Maggie gets Idol with an atomic drop, but Idol reverses and gets Maggie with a back suplex, and Idol then locks in that figure four leg out, a great angle of figure four leg out. I've seen that first time, because I have not seen that kind of tilted type of figure four leg out into the right side, and that's very painful. And he succumbed to that move, and on the Maggie for the submission win, as Maggie tapped out, and Austin Alley get the victory. So this was a very good. Mat based and some good wrestling right there, some good pure wrestling in the first match, opening match. I liked it. And Austin Idol, to this day as well, he's in NWA with that guy Tyrus. Yeah, if you watch NWA, you would know about him. He's the manager of Tyrus, and Tyrus is having a match against Pope at NWA When Our Shadows Fall pay-per-view, which is tomorrow. And the winner was Austin Idol. And then we go to the next match, which is a title match. And as we all know, the first 15 minutes of the match would be the title would be on contention, and after that would be not. And Ron Bass is Jim Nussle for the NWA television title, and Ron Bass is the NWA television champion actually. If you forget about, so Ron Bass, this was a Ron Bass game where he actually started off with armbar, with an arm takedown, and some rope breaks and all, some good wrestlings and punches, and Nelson kind of backing away from Ron Bass because he's a power guy, so he tries to escape him. And Nelson gets Bass in a side headlock, good side headlock, that kind of a guillotine choke type of side headlock was there. And then we saw Ron Bass actually whips Nelson into the ropes and backdrops him, and a couple of knees thrown into Bass from Nelson, and more big forearms from Nelson. But Bass fights back and knocks him down with a right hand. So this is the story. The story was that Ron Bass is a power guy, and uh, where Jim Nelson was a speed guy, and Jim Nelson actually was using his speed to his advantage, trying to escape the power of the Ron Bass, and some strikes by Nelson as well, whenever he could, but he was unable to pick up the victory, because and at the end Bass suplexes Nelson, and Bass grabs hold of Nelson into the and gets the pin after the Stampede running slam, and that gets a victory. So if you see the finishes and all, you would be like thinking about nowadays these finishes are just normal we saw in 2 minutes or 3 minutes of the match. But this is the 80s time, man, and you need to know about that. The selling was on the highest peak at this time. So nobody knows about this was real or fake. All of them actually believed that this was real. And actually watching it, even if it's a kayfabe, I didn't felt like this is a in a I actually felt like it's being done in kayfabe and it's being done real, but actually it's not. But nonetheless, this was a good TV championship match for Ron Bass, and Ron Bass is a top babyface now. And later on in his wrestling career, he actually turns heel, but he is now the face of this. He's now the face of the one of the top babyface with Ricky Steamboat and Jake Roberts. And we then saw the third match, which was between Sergeant Slaughter versus Frank Monet. So Sergeant Slaughter, we have been seeing 2 weeks right now that Sergeant Slaughter is doing great, and he's been having some great squash matches. And this was a this cannot be done set as a squash match, because Frank Monte actually try to have some upper hand on Slaughter, but Slaughter is a big guy, man. You cannot control this guy. And we saw some quick takedown by Slaughter first, and then we saw Monte shove Slaughter onto the ropes, and we saw some quick work from both of them. Slaughter getting back up and going after Monte's left arm again, and the arm control was very good in this. Sergeant Slaughter was picking up his left arm, and he was repeatedly tilting and focusing on damaging his arms. And Monte kicks Slaughter off after he was getting to that submission, and Sergeant Slaughter lands a few forearms and punches at Monte. When we saw the flurry of offenses by Slaughter with a backbreaker, head first in the top head turnbuckle, running into the top turnbuckle. And then we saw, so this game is now for this match is now at the court of Slaughter, because Slaughter is managing this match, and Slaughter tosses him to the outside. Slaughter teases jumping off the top rope, but he didn't, and that would have been dangerous because he was on the apron. Actually, Monte was on the near the apron. That would have been a botch. And Sergeant Slaughter in the finish, we saw follows with a knee at Monte, and then whips him into the ropes and gets a clothesline. And Slaughter then gets Monte in the Cobra Clutch. Is one of the finisher, and he gets the victory and submits Monte. So this was the match, and this was a kind of a squash match, you could say, but a quick, small squash match for Sergeant Slaughter. And he's good, he's great in the ring, and he was doing his character at a great displaying his character very well, and one of the best character, U.S. Marine character he was playing. And then we got a winner, Sergeant Slaughter, and then we got the interview by David Crockett, and David Crockett actually interviews Scott Maggie, and he actually praises Maggie for his performance earlier in the opening match, and he talks about his experience and all. When he was 12, he praises being around Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair, and learning from them, his experience, his who he look up to, and he hoped to someday wrestle Ric Flair, Andersons, and Russians. And Crockett then asked him about the damage done, how was the damage done by the figure four leg block, and he actually explains it a little more, kind of, but they cuts away anyway, because they wanted to go to the next match. And this was tag team match between the Grappler and the Super Destroyer versus Johnny Weaver and Ron Ritchie. This was the match of the night. This was a very good tag team match, very fun tag team match, and a fast-paced tag team match where John Weaver and Ron Ritchie had that fast and quick tags. And each and every time Johnny Weaver and Ron Ritchie were trying to arm drag out of every run away by Grappler and Super Destroyer. They were having the tag, but Johnny Weaver and Ron Ritchie were having the upper hand with their technical skills, with some wrist lock. Then we got some arm drags, as I said, and then we saw ropes, hip tosses him, misses a knee drop but tags in Grappler, and Richie tags in Weaver and he gets Grappler in a hammerlock. So lots of wrestling hurts in this match. So very quick action that was going on, a quick tag as well. So it was fun to see Weaver, Johnny Weaver and Ron Richie, and we have seen Ron Richie last week. He was not with Johnny Weaver, but he was with another guy. That was a tag team match. That was good. And Ron Richie, I'm a fan of this guy. And uh, in the finish, we saw the match actually trying to going into the favor of Grappler and the Super Destroyer, because they are the heels and they're the top guys. Ron Richie back in and he keeps the pace going against Super Destroyer. Grappler and Weaver get in the ring. The Grappler gets Weaver with an atomic drop and tags in Super Destroyer. Super Destroyer with the backbreaker and gets a 2 count on Weaver. He gets Weaver in a chin lock then, and crowd cheers on Weaver then, and Weaver throws Super Destroyer into his corner. And in the finish, we saw Super Destroyer and Grappler double team Richie, where ref was all 4 men in the ring, and referee tries to get Weaver out of the ring, but Super Destroyer and the Grappler double teams Richie, and this was the this was the finish, and Weaver comes back and chases away the Grappler, and Superplex Super Destroyer gets Richie up on the corner and gets Richie in a Superplex and gets the pin, because his partner Weaver was not there, and they were outside. So that's why Grappler, Super Destroyer and Super Destroyer was outside. So Ron Richie gets that Ron Richie actually have that Superplex, and Super Destroyer gets a pin. And this was the match. This was a very good match, and some great wrestling right there, some fast-paced wrestling. Grappler and Super Destroyer with their power advantage, while Johnny Weaver and Ron Richie with their speed. Power versus speed storyline is so good to see every time you see in nowadays as well. So this was the match of the night, and then we saw a segment where Jake Roberts showed and argued that Grappler and Super Destroyer didn't tag and just switched out. And the storyline that's playing out right now in Mid Atlantic is like there are a bunch of bad guys and there are a bunch of good guys, and they're kind of building to that big tag team match. I think so, because we have Ric Flair. Ole Anderson, and this guy, what's his name? Roddy Piper, the big bad guys, and where we have the favorites as Ricky Steamboat, we can say this guy, Johnny Weaver and Ron Richie, yeah, Ron Bass, and these are the guys who are the favorites, and they are building towards that. And this storyline going on. So Grappler and so the story is going good. That the heels are looking strong, and that's good. And the heels get the victory, but faces are not in the very bad chance of something they can't win or something. They are having a great momentum towards that rivalry, and I am liking this. I'm liking the build way by brick by brick they are building it. And I hoped Ric Flair would be there this week, but he was not there. Maybe we would be seeing in 1 or 2 weeks. They didn't announce next week. They don't announce that thing and all. And so and then we saw Grappler and Super Destroyer. So that was Jake Roberts having arguing that Grappler and Super Destroyer didn't tag, and they just switched because they were actually wearing both wearing the mask. The referee didn't recognize them, and this was a moment where Richie Super Destroyer got the superplex on Richie, and referee didn't recognize who was that. So he thought about that. He was a legal guy. So Grappler and Super Destroyer came out for an interview then, and they were upset that Jake Roberts came on 10, and Roberts, he made a mistake interfering, and they actually warned them, and they about if Jake Roberts get into their business, and we would be focusing on them. And Grappler and Super Destroyer says, so nice promo by them. I like this, and they look like a very strong heel, kind of thug, kind of heel when they are wearing masks. And then we saw Austin Idol comes and says he has something going on his mind, and all of them are focusing on the Ric Flair's new world champion. And he actually tells that he thoughts about that he will be beating him. And Ole Anderson then comes about and says that Flair won't be the champion for long, because his championship on his waist would be turning into my waist. And then there are a lot of people like Jake Roberts, Ron Bass, and Leroy Braun talking about this, but he's one of the baddest that you have ever seen. And kind of good promo by Ole Anderson, Austin Idol. They were good promos, and many promos in this episode. And That was good, and I liked this. I liked the promos. And then we got to the third match actually, which was between Jake Roberts and Leroy Brown versus Mike Miller and Ricky Harris. And this match, no, this match wasn't that good. It was an average tag match because commentators were not David Caudle and Bob Caudle and David Crockett were not focusing upon the match. Rather they were telling about one thing that was very important announcement that they're going to have the US Heavyweight Championship tournament, and that's great news to see. And I haven't seen tournaments or something, so it's great to see tournaments like that that's going to happen. And not Ricky Steamboat, Roddy Piper was the US Heavyweight Champion, but then what happened with Wahoo McDaniel, and that's a situation where they are trying to kind of decided that they are going to have the US Heavyweight Championship tournament that's going to happen. So Dusty Rhodes is going to be in this first match with someone. They said Dusty Rhodes is going to have a match, and and Dusty Rhodes is just as they actually said that Dusty Rhodes just lose the NWA World Heavyweight title. And even though he lose that, US Heavyweight Champion was at the ranks of NWA Heavyweight Championship, at the rank of that. So this was good. So David Crockett then as I said, makes the announcement that due to the incident between Roddy Piper and Wahoo McDaniel, with Abdullah the Butcher getting involved, that NWO has vacated the United States title, and there will be a tournament held. This is a quote that he told actually to the viewers, and this was a good match. Jake Roberts movement were good, and Leroy Brown was good. I don't know, Jake Roberts and Ricky Steamboat chemistry was more good. Last week's episode was more good than last week, which I done review. That was more good than this match. Leroy Brown was good. He had that power advantage. They actually focus upon the leg of Mike Miller and Ricky Harris at the early moment, and Leroy Brown was a big guy here, and so they were having the advantage, where Jake Roberts were a fiery and very kind of a raised kind of guy who had a grit and determination, who's going to do anything that he can. He's not going to be just sitting and just going to be sitting around or having his time passed or something. So he tosses him to the corner and tags in the finish of the match. We saw Miller reaches the rope. He kicks Brown and tags in Harris. Harris with a couple of punches, but Brown is fired up and knocks down Harris. He tosses him into the corner and tags in Jake Roberts, and Roberts gets Harris with a knee lift. Harris tags in Miller, and Robert gets Miller with a knee lift and tags in Brown then, and Brown splashes on Miller and covers him for the pin. And post match we saw Jim Nelson, Mike Miller and Ricky Harris join Crockett for an interview. Nelson said he could have beaten Ron Bass and wants a rematch because there was three guys in the ring, but David Crockett says that there was no three guys, there were one guy, and a kind of a weight of three guys that they were actually telling. Crockett claims there was only one man in the ring, and Miller claims there were three men, and because of the way that was not fair, as Jim Nelson and Mike Miller says. Mike Miller and Ricky Harris says. So Jim Nelson also has an interview said that he could have beaten Ron Bass and he wants a rematch, he says. And then we got to the main event match, which was between Jay Youngblood versus Ole Anderson, and this is the first singles match. I was excited about to see this match, and this was a good match. They started off with some exchange punches near the ropes. Grappler then complains about Jake Roberts getting involved in his match earlier on the show, and he was on the ring. So lots of stuff was going on around the ring because Grappler came around. So kind of because of that, this match took a hit or something. This was going good still, I would say. Anderson takes Youngblood down, but Ole reverses and tosses Youngblood to the outside, and Grappler then screams at Youngblood, and then he throws him out to the ring. And Jay Extent is a kind of a guy who's fast paced, who's going to do anything that he can, and he's just so good to watch, and he has that big fighting spirit, that baby face spirit that he has. So it was good to see, and he was chopping the hell out of Ole Anderson, and his chops were kind of soothing to listen. He was just hitting him around the neck area, and Ole Anderson was getting that, and he didn't exchange with that chop because Jay Youngblood is the master of that. He didn't chop, he was punching, but he didn't stop chopped and all. Grappler then stays ringside. He only slams Youngblood and drops an elbow on him, and he gets a 2 count. Youngblood gets up and gets some hard tops on Ole, and Ole takes him down then and gets him in a chin lock. And Jay Blood gets up and tosses Ole off him, hits him with a pair of drop hits. He gets a 2 count, and the grappler actually runs in and attacks Youngblood, and this made the match a DQ, and Youngblood wins by a DQ. And Jake Roberts, the faces, comes to save Jay Youngblood. And I liked how the show was ending because the faces were the heels were there, and they are building out for some 6-man tag match or a tag team match that I'm thinking about, and it's good. And Jake Roberts and Ron Bass run out and help Youngblood. Leroy Brown also comes out to help them out as well, and they have a babyface promo after that. Ron Bass, Jay Youngblood, Leroy Brown, and Jake Roberts come out, and they says they are going to work as a unit, and they're gonna have tired of being facing the odds and all. They says, and it's good promo to see, and I like the way they built this show. This was a storyline driven show. You don't expect that Roddy Piper or Ric Flair have shown in the show was there in the show. We didn't have Ricky Steamboat as well. Top stars, you can say, was even the NWA heavyweight champion was not there for 2 weeks right now, Ivan Koloff, and we just have Jay Youngblood, and we have Ron Bass, the TV champion. We had Jake Roberts, and these are the guys that, and a new guy called Leroy Brown. So they are tired of facing the odds against guys like Ole Anderson, Roddy Piper, Grappler, and a mass superstar, and so they are all throwing out the challenge. So they all throw the challenge, and this was the show. The show ends actually after this. So this was a very solid hour of wrestling with some good storyline build up, and like the show, the main match, match highlight of this show was the match of the tag team match between the Grappler and the Super Destroyer versus Johnny Weaver and Ron Ritchie. Go out, see this match because this was a very good match, a fun match. If you have WWE Network, you could watch that in the Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling section. So this was the episode. This was the episode. So I do this episode every week. So please stick to my channel. Please do subscribe for more videos and reviews of the shows, other shows as well. Tomorrow is NWO When Our Shadows Fall pay-per-view, and as well as Dominion. So I will be coming with that reviews as well. So please put down your thoughts on the comment section below. How do you like this review? And what are your thoughts on this episode, if you have seen and if you have watched a long time ago or something, or what's the improvement that I should have in this episode? You could clearly tell me in the comment section below. I am ready to listen to that. So please be sure to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content like this. And so until then, be safe, stay energetic, and see you guys in the next one. Peace.